Welcome to Commander Pop Culture, a place to gather magical information with some laughs, might I add. I call this under a 100 because there was a build challenge. Ulamog accounts for 35% of the budget, so that means the average card price is 65 cents.
Oh my god.
I had to get a little creative when designing this. There are some things I can't skimp on. Because Carlos is terrible at a lot of things, I can't skimp on card advantage and I can't skimp on removal. So my card average for everything else is even more abysmal than everything else. There are problems that you have to deal with Ulamog being in your command zone, and that's people are going to be terrified. If you don't know what he does, he has several triggers on him. He has a targeted trigger, he has a cast trigger, he has an ETB trigger, and he has a attack trigger. It's a lot of damn triggers to keep track of, but he does it all. On cast, you exile target opponent's library rounded up. Has the ward targeted trigger, forces people to sack 2 permanents. That's scary as hell. On ETB, you put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the greatest CMC value. It doesn't even have to be from the cast trigger, but I imagine that's what it's going to be. You're going to exile a ton of cards. The odds of you hitting something big is pretty good, especially when you're exiling half their library. You put that many counters on it. Now the attack trigger, when it attacks, it has another X for X number of +1/+1 counters on this thing. So the dream is you attack and you do it once and you neuter someone's board into oblivion and they can't do anything about it. This is more so for the people who just like trade for it or miraculously pull it from a pack and they're like, I don't want to invest a lot into this, but I want to build the deck because I have it. This is probably for those folks. Because of that scare factor, we need to stretch our life total and pad it. So I do have a life gain package in here so I can get to that attack trigger. Let's get into it. Ugin for cost reduction and its card advantage, something I couldn't skip on. He +2s to manifest the top of your library as a 2/2. When that 2/2 dies, it gets put in your hand, and as -3s, you get to blow up a colored permanent. Does both advantage and removal on one piece. The dream come true, because there ain't much to pick from in colorless. That's even if I had an unlimited budget, I wouldn't have much to pick from. Filigree Familiar for card advantage and life gain. Perfect. Spectrum Sentinel triggers whenever a non-basic comes into play. So that's all the time, especially in Commander. You should be gaining a considerable amount of life. It also protects your life total in that it has protection from multicolored, so you can stave off a lot of significant aggro with this. Most people's commanders are multiple colors. Geo Golem that cheat Ulamog into play. If this connects, it has trample, it should cast your commander for free. Should your commander die, you will have to pay tax.
Taxes.
So like, say I hit someone for 5 with this and Ulamog's already died, I will have to pay 2 minimally in that scenario, and it goes up beyond that. Circuit Bender for card draw and life gain. Steel Hellkite has a board wipe. Endbringer for card advantage and managing the board because you can plink out people's stuff. You could also prevent people from attacking you, or prevent a target from attacking you, which is significant when we're trying to keep your life total high. Breaker of Creation. When you cast it, you gain life for each colorless permanent you control. Should be a lot by the time you drop it because it costs 8 mana. It has Hexproof from each color. Not that I really care. I care about the life gain portion, but it also has Annihilator too, so it ain't bad. Solemn for ramping and card advantage. Palladium Mirror for ramping. Crashing Drawbridge, because we're going to be doing a lot of setup, if we could avoid the tempo issue of dealing with summoning sickness and letting people untap and draw and see cards to potentially answer you, I want to take away that potential and give our guy haste. Matter Reshaper for card advantage on death. Scavenge Brawler is a fun card, $2. Flag, Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink. But the sweet part of this thing is you can exile it from your graveyard to choose a creature to put 4 +1/+1 counters on it, a flying counter, a vigilance counter, a trample counter, and a lifelink counter. The whole kit and caboodle. It does everything you want. So Ulamog here, the +1/+1 counters from the Scavenge Brawler will go on this, and Ulamog will care about those. You'll also care about the lifelink for keeping your life total nice and high. It also gives it vigilance, so you can block and gain more life on the defensive end. This guy does way more than people will give it credit for. Also not on EDH rec for sure. Abstruse Archaic. You get the copy an activated or triggered ability from a colorless source. Since Ulamog has 4 different triggers on him, take your pick and whatever suits you the most. Codes like to refill your hand. All's Dust is a board wipe, Facial Contortion, Null Elemental Blast, Eldrazi Confluence. They're all single target removal spells. I like Eldrazi Confluence a little bit more. It's one I don't mind skimping on because I can hit multiple targets with it. As long as I only have 3 toughness, I kill it. But I could also mix and match. I can just target the same thing multiple times, and I can blow up a single target that has 9 toughness if I really had to. Haunted Cloak for the vigilance and trample haste. More so the haste and vigilance are nice because then I could keep my life total protected with a very large untapped blocker. Pit Trap, this is one of my I dive deep to find kind of cards. Lets me sack it, destroy an attacking creature without flying. I think this also buys you a bunch of life because no one's going to willingly attack into you knowing that they could get their stuff blown up.
Be afraid.
It's threatening. It does more. Ilda's Crown, this is to draw you some cards. You get for 3 mana, you could sack it to draw cards for each tap creature and all opponents. So you could draw a significant amount of cards with this. Collector's Vault, you get to draw a card, then discard a card. That's card selection, and it ramps you by giving you a treasure. Pretty sweet. Never played it or tried it before, but I'm excited to do it in this deck. Transmogrifying Wand, it's a 3-for-1 removal spell. Doesn't get played enough. I think this is one of the ultimate budget removal spells out there because you could literally play it in any deck. Best 20-cent investment anybody will ever make. Angel Heart Vial, this was a fun one. Whenever you're dealt damage, you may put that many charge counters on it, and then you move 4 to gain 2 life and draw a card. For the amount of damage that you're probably going to be taking, you'll be racking up a lot of charge counters, and this will probably consistently be drawing you cards. Violet Galadriel, I had some fun playing with this one. If you would draw a card while you have no cards in hand, you draw 2 instead. If you gain life while you have 5 or less life, you gain twice that life instead. Helps with both of the problems that we have when piloting this deck. When we're in dire straits, it pulls through. Thank you, Galadriel. I have Vecna for card advantage. Locks out a Warhammer for lifelink. Ratchet Bomb. This is to scoop up all the little shitters in play. You get to destroy each non-land permanent with equal cost of Ratchet Bomb for the counters on it. So I typically use this just to blow up tokens, and I leave it on 0, and it's just perfect for dealing with aggro strategies and buying yourself time. Charity Victory for trample and haste. First strike is whatever. It's just a nice, efficient haste enabler. I only have to sink 1 mana for the sink. Mystic Forge and Endless Atlas for card advantage. Horizon Stone. This is a pseudo ramp piece. You don't lose mana as steps and phases end, including your end step. So if you have excess mana, just tap it all down on the previous end step. Stockpile it for your next turn. Use it for casting Ulamog. Karn Solix, it's a board wipe. Destroy every permanent that's X or less, not to be confused with Ratchet Bomb. Ratchet Bomb specifically cares about the exact number. This one's that number and less. So keep that in mind. Profane Memento, whenever a creature is put in an opponent's grave or from anywhere, you gain a life. Pads your total. Reckoner Bank Buster. This lets you draw a bunch of cards. Clock of Moments to do some tapping and untapping shenanigans. I got a lot of that going on in this deck. Stuff you could take advantage, like Staffin in here. Lets you tap it, deal damage to target creature or player, and then being of your upkeep, you get to draw an extra card. Basilisk Collar for lifelink keyword. Lava Spur for the haste enabling. Triangle War, this is a removal piece. It kind of operates very similar to the trap that we talked about earlier. Can sack it to have target creature control and target creature and opponent controls fight each other. Ulamog's a big boy, so you should win that fight every single time. My weak stone, this either is card advantage or removal, and then it taps to play artifacts. You're playing 55 artifacts, so you'll be able to get some good use out of it, even after you get the ETB trigger. Mind's Eye for card advantage. Forsaken Monument, this is a nice rubber band card. Lets you not only accelerate your game, but also gains you a bunch of life whenever you cast a colorless permanent. And Echoes of Fraternity, since Ulamog's got 4 different triggers on him, doubles everything. So you'll exile 2 libraries. When Ulamog attacks, you get to double the attack trigger, and if someone ever targets Ulamog, they have to sacrifice 4 permanents instead of 2. So Echoes of Eternity is bomb-tastic in this. And then we have our lands. Most of these are just utility purposes and 17 wastes. Hope you all enjoyed. Take care now. Bye.